Hello there. My name is Wyatt Baker, and this is my speech to give you a process on how to do anything in particular. So, creative freedom was given on this presentation in a huge way. All really that I had to do was use the processes that I've learned, the speaking techniques, the visual techniques, using my hands, and to take a process, something that I obviously have to know quite a bit about to be able to tell you how to do it, and explain that with this speech. So what I'm going to do is it's all revolving around bladesmithing, blade forging, whatever you want to call it. And what I'm going to do, there's some projects right here, that's why I keep looking over there. Not really sure which one I'm going to start with yet, but the two things I'm going to teach you in the process is one, how to make pattern welded or Damascus steel, and the other one I'm going to teach you is how to prep knife scales from, this is myrtle wood, for a garden knife I'm doing for a client. So the first thing I'm going to tell you about is Damascus steel. I have a small blank right here of this pattern welded steel that I forged up this morning, and you can't really see it from here, so I'm going to bring it in close. I'm going to show you that pattern in the steel. That is the pattern weld. Looks a lot prettier in person. So this stuff here, this small little piece came off an end of a project that I was working on, and it forged out and looked like this, and it's ugly, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to teach you how to make pattern welded steel, or rather tell you how to do it, because it is dangerous. Don't try it at home. I did, and it worked, but it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and you might end up hurt. So, to do pattern welded steel, you need two different kinds of steel. This one is 1084 high carbon steel and 15 and 20 tooling steel. So what I do is I take 15 pieces of each, alternate them in a stack, weld them together, weld it to a piece of rebar, stick it in my forge, and I forge them together. Now that sounds easy. It's not. This piece that I did, that was a bigger block, 48 hours in the forge, non-stop. If you stop, it's done. It's scrap. So I was out there 2 days in the forge. I slept a little bit. I cheated, and it worked out for me. That's kind of the downfalls of bladesmithing, is that it's a lot of work. So this piece here turned into somewhere around 700 layers. I lost track. Now to do that, you forge out your first billet, which is 30 layers, you cut it in half, you forge it together, and you keep doing that. So every single time your layer count doubles. Now the trick for pattern welded steel is you cannot let oxygen get into your steel or it's scrap. You can't let grit, dirt, any sand, anything get into your steel or it's scrap. You can't quench it. It has to be air hardened, which is extremely difficult to do, but it worked on this one, surprisingly. And there's quite a few other things that I could probably spend 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours telling you about just for pattern welded steel alone. Now, because I'm already at 3.5 minutes in this speech, I'm going to grab a few projects here. So this is myrtle wood. I sanded it. I put a little stain on there, and that's just to get the color out and just to see how the wood would work. Now, the three knives that there's more than three, but the knives I'm going to be working on here today, not in this video because I don't have enough time, are these three here. So these three knives are all going to get put into myrtle wood handles. Thankfully, I have probably 2 cords of myrtle wood, which is actually one of the rarest woods in the world, because the only 2 places it grows is Myrtlewood, Oregon, or Myrtle Creek, Oregon, and Israel, ironically enough. So this here's the first knife I'm going to do. This one's the second. And this one here is the third. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do the whole process here because I don't have enough time, but I get the whole blade. I'm going to do this one first. I take it to my piece of wood. I find a pattern in the wood that I like. I line the blade up to it, and it's real easy. I just go ahead and roughly trace around the blade. So there I have a line. This is on the back side, not the side that I finished. So I have a line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on this wood, but I'm going to do it outside of the line. See, so I'm going to go outside of it so I don't lose access. Like if a blade jumped on the bandsaw or when I was filing it, I have plenty of material there when I file it. See how much material I have? Oh, you can't even see the line. There we go. I have that much material to spare on both sides, so when I have my blocks, I have more than I need because I'd rather have more than less. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to drill the pins, the pinholes in the wood, drill the pinholes here in the steel. I'm going to pin it and JB weld the wood blanks, one on either side, and then I'm going to go rasp it out to the right shape all by hand, and then I'm going to clean up the piece of wood. I'm going to shape it, make it comfortable, clean it up, stain it to a beautiful color, lacquer it so it looks like glass, and then because you all probably want to see what a finished example looks like, here is one. This is what they look like when they're finished. See how I've got this bronze piece, and then I've got a black wood, and then this is a myrtle wood here with 4 bronze pins. So that there's one that's finished. Comfortable, usable, not going to break, solid knife. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.